Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Liverpool podcast brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network. PSG are on their way to Anfield for that crunch Champions League round of 16 second leg tie. It's an 8 p.m. kickoff UK time. That is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm joined by Tom Goward. Tom, it's been a while, mate. How are you?
Yeah, it has been a while, and I feel like a lot's happened in the Liverpool world in between then. But yeah, I'm all good, and I'm looking forward to the game, the second leg.
Turning up for the big ones, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got another Tom in the house, Tom Barnes. How's it going, Tom?
Yeah, all good, thank you, mate. It's been a while as well. I think we were less confident with the league the last time I was on a podcast, so it's nice to be that ever more confident this time around. And yeah, looking forward to another big game tomorrow.
Well, we've got two Toms in the house, so you're Barnesy today, which on a Liverpool pod, that's not a bad thing. But you mentioned the league title race. Tom Goward, is it a title race now?
I mean, I think we've pretty much won it. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but yeah, it's every week you just sort of see Arsenal playing. You know, I'm like, oh, can United do something? Yes, on Sunday, and sure enough, they took a point, got a draw against them, and then you say, well, we've got 15 games. I think we need 6 more wins or 16 more points, 5 wins and a draw, something like that. So, and it'd be quite good that then on our 7th game we play Arsenal at home, and they have to give us the guard of honour, which will just be the perfect, ideal situation. But yeah, we're looking good. We're looking strong. Obviously, we got the final as well on Sunday. So I'm liking where Liverpool are at the moment.
Yeah, Barnesy, I think it's more. Yeah, look, we're 15 points ahead, but it's now the games are running out now, aren't they? For Arsenal, that's the key now. 9 games left. I know they've got a game in hand, and they will play more games than us by the time we come back to Premier League action in April. Is that any kind of a factor, or is it still too much for them to do now?
Yeah, I mean, when you're in a title race and you have the opportunity to play a few games before your rivals, then play again, you look at it and think, okay, if we get a few wins, then that's got to be a psychological benefit. But I think they asked the question yesterday on Sky, and it was just like, oh, they'll play 3 times before Liverpool play again. And in your head, instinctively, you're thinking, oh, wow, okay, that might boost them if they get 3 wins out of 3. But then they say, but then that'll just close the gap to 7 points. And it's just like, well, 7 points even at this stage of the season is still a big deficit. So, yeah, no, I think I'm one of them, and I have been in previous years when we've been at the top. I don't want to get ahead of myself too early, but when you're 15 points ahead in the middle of March, then it's hard not to say that you'd be astonished if Liverpool aren't to go on and win the title, regardless of whether Arsenal play 3 games before our next Premier League game. So yeah, no, I think it is too big of a deficit to overcome. So yeah, no, I don't think anything can really. It'll have to be a complete capitulation if we're not to go on and do it now. So like Tom said, I'm happy with where Liverpool are at the moment, and I don't really have too many concerns regarding the league.
Yeah, I just think there's just too many things in our favour now. As I said, it's not just the points gap. It's the number of games that are left now. It's the fact that Arsenal look so toothless up front. It's the fact that, we'd have to lose 4 or 5 games now between now and the end of the season, and Arsenal then win all of their games. And we have only lost 1 game all season. So let's just hope that, that kind of pans out in the way that we're all expecting. Right, so Liverpool, we take a 1-0 lead into this game against PSG, courtesy of that late Harvey Elliott strike, that smash and grab raid at the Parc des Princes last week. Tom, we were played off the park last week at PSG. No doubt about that. And not a great first half at the weekend as well. We can't have any slow starts in this one, can we?
No, and I think Slot mentioned as well after the Saints game at the weekend about the intensity levels, how they sort of needed to go 1 up against PSG and 6 or 7 against Southampton. So, but I think we're at home. That always gets the players up. You know, we've got an advantage. I think they would have learned things from the first leg. You know, they've managed to learn. I don't think that front three, they were quite expecting them to be that good. I know they were good, but that was the best attacking performance I've seen a team against us this season. But I think now they'll be aware of that. They would have worked on that. You know, it's quite nice. It's difficult as we made it. It's quite nice to have an easier game in Southampton at the weekend. So I know, like I say, it wasn't the most plain sailing, but it's not like we were playing a big 6 team or whatever. And yeah, I like to think we'll do the job. I think the home advantage helps us, like I just said, and we'll just see. I mean, it was a crazy game. That's one of the craziest games I've watched in a few years from Liverpool. But I think the confidence will be up. They're knowing what's at stake. The next, getting into the next round. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, look, there isn't anything sweeter than getting absolutely hammered for like close to 90 minutes and then getting a last minute goal to win it. I mean, I don't want to go through it again at Anfield. Don't get me wrong, but it was a great win. Tom, at the weekend, apparently Arne Slot really, really, kind of laid into the players at half time, and even Mo Salah alluded to that in his post-match interview. The head-to-head record for Liverpool, it's in our favour. 5 matches, Liverpool have won 3. There have been no draws. PSG have won 2. PSG have never won at Anfield. But as Tom mentioned, that front lineup for PSG, the likes of Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, they were just on a different level. And they're really going to have to be contained in this game if we're going to progress.
Yeah, 100%. I think, like Tom said, it's all about intensity. It's about starting quick. But I think Arne Slot will tell them, listen, we got battered for 90 minutes and we were 1-0 up on aggregate. Imagine what it'd be if we were to play well, if we were to turn up on the night. We can't rely on another Alisson masterclass again, because goalkeeping performances like that come every so often. They're not common at all, and that's why it got the plaudits it did. So yeah, and I think it's no surprise this is the best PSG have looked in a while. Now all the big superstar names have gone. That they look more of a team now. It's probably the best team in recent years I've seen play against Liverpool by a country mile. Just without the clinical edge at the end of it. But no, I think with it being at Anfield, listen, we've turned Real Madrid over, we've turned Bayer Leverkusen over comfortably, and these are teams that you'd probably say are arguably better than PSG. So there's no reason why if we don't turn up, we can go out at them. But okay, yeah, their front three has looked very good. I mean, they've had a great season up to now. They've lost however many games, very little. But I think it's one of them. We've got to look at where we are in the league, how we've got on in the league phase. We're in the final of the League Cup. PSG should be more worried about us at Anfield than we should be of them coming to us. Okay, you've got to have one eye on the opposition. But if we go out and play our own game, then I feel like whoever we were to play at Anfield, we'd do a number on. So I'm confident we'll get the job done. But yeah, like you say, we can't afford to start slow, because they showed the other night, okay, barring an Alisson masterclass, that they can punish teams, and they will punish us if they get the chances. So yeah, no, as long as we start fast, don't give away any sloppy chances like we did against Southampton and obviously PSG last weekend, then I think we should be just fine.
Tom, PSG were 4-1 winners away at Rennes at the weekend. They made 8 changes in that game, and despite the score last week, they are full of confidence. I mean, maybe some of the quotes are maybe even overconfident. I think it was Vitinha has said that, quote, we're going to score and we're going to go through, and I'm sure of it. And a lot of the PSG players apparently are really, really confident. I just think there's a really interesting psychology going into this game. I mean, Tom mentioned rightly that we got absolutely battered in Paris, and we still won. But surely PSG will be thinking that can't happen again, right? That can't happen if we play as well as we do, as we did last week. Alisson can't come out with another 10 out of 10 performance, and we will score. And I just think that and on the Liverpool side, it must be that, like Tom said, if we can play so badly and still win, surely, we can go that one better at home. And I think there's also the interesting stat that the Parc des Princes pitch, I think, is 4 meters bigger than Anfield. I'm just wondering how's that going to play into the kind of style that PSG and Liverpool have? Is that going to affect anything?
I don't know. I would like to think it's not going to affect anything because the side that we are and have been this season. Like I said earlier, I think Liverpool will learn from the mistakes. It doesn't take a genius to work out that they were lucky to get the win last week. The late smash and grab. They know that, so they know what's coming again. It's for PSG. It's nice that they've made the changes they did at the weekend. Can still score 4 goals and sort of rest a few players. I know we brought a few players off at half time, but I don't think it was sort of keeping one eye on the week and one eye on the fact that they weren't playing well. I think he brought off against Saints, Szoboszlai, Jones, and Tsimikas, yeah. So you sort of, okay, well, Szoboszlai will probably play because of his energy, but I think probably Jones and Tsimikas came off because of their performance of the weekend. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. I think the psychological thing is a weird one from them because I don't think it shouldn't affect Liverpool. We're not the lesser team here. I think we're the bigger, better team here. So they're trying to psych out. It's like Southampton trying to psych out Man City, for example. Like, it's not that big of a gap, but you know what I mean. Like, I think we're the bigger team here. So it's weird that that's how they think they're going to get to us, but it shouldn't affect us because we are the better team and we've got that home advantage. And if Liverpool can just see out the first 20 minutes tomorrow with less chances given away like we did last week, then I think we'd be all right. And then all we need to do is, and we had our own chances in the game last week. It was quite open at the back at times for PSG, and we could have actually scored a few ourselves. So, all right, we only had 2 shots or whatever, but there was opportunities to get shots away and to create chances. So, and all we need to do is score one. Score 1 in the first half, and then suddenly they need 3. And I know they could have had about 9 against us last week, but I don't think that's going to be the same because no 2 games are the same. So we just, we see out the first 20 minutes, deal with the wingers better, those 2 guys on the wing who were just unbelievable, score a goal, then they suddenly need 3 at Anfield to go through. And I just, honestly, I can't see that happening, not this season.
And how do we deal with that, Barnesy, in terms of the threat down the flanks? Trent, I thought he was pretty good at the weekend, and I thought Robertson, when he came on, thought he would, and I think he's really kind of upped his game in the last, kind of month or so. He had a lot of criticism early part of the season, but I think Robertson is slowly getting back into that kind of the kind of form that we expect from him, and I think he's going to be a really key. I think he's going to be a really key component for us between now and the end of the season with his experience. I really thought Tsimikas was really poor in that first half, and I thought, how can he be so poor knowing that PSG is around the corner? This is a massive opportunity to kind of lay a claim to that position. But it's going to be a team effort in terms of those players, Dembele, they are so good, they're so quick. It's going to take the midfield coming in as well to help those guys out at fullback.
Yeah, definitely. I think the cliche answer, how to stop them wingers, is to stop them getting the ball. And I think that starts at the front. I think it's going to have to be PSG, one of them teams now. They've shown the quality, so it means that we're going to have to do a proper Liverpool at Anfield performance, defending from the front, full throttle, intense. Just don't let them breathe. If you give them space, they're going to create chances of punish. That's the quality they've got. But at the same time, so do we. If we can, keep the ball, take the sting out of the game. At the end of the day, we don't have to score tomorrow to go through. They do. They have to score at least 1. So yeah, I think if we can defend from the front, stop the wide players getting on the ball, stop the midfield. Because I was very impressed with the midfield as well. last week as well as the wingers. Obviously, the wingers are going to take all the credit, but I think they've got a really good balance of.
Coutinho was outstanding, wasn't he?
Coutinho, yeah, and that João Neves as well. I mean, you can tell that they play together in the Portuguese setup as well. They've got that understanding, but at the end of the day, like I said before, whoever we play at Anfield, I just feel like battles all over the pitch. I'd back us to win all day, every day, and I think obviously the crowd are going to have a big part to play tomorrow. So they had the home crowd behind them last week, and that's no doubt going to have helped them get on the ball, dictate the game. But when they're coming to Anfield, I don't think when you're fighting a 1-0 deficit, the last place you want to come is to Anfield. So it's going to be tough. But yeah, I'd just say defend for your lives, defend from the front. Don't give them a chance to get the ball, get it out of the feet and play two-touch passing, and letting them dictate the play. If we can dictate the play out of possession and with possession, then I just don't see how they can hurt us to the point where they're going to knock us out of the Champions League. So no, I'm confident tomorrow, as long as we obviously don't turn up like we did last week. But if we turn up how we have throughout the season, then yeah, it's in our hands to lose.
Yeah, I think the intensity of PSG last week was, I think that's the thing that really kind of, I think it surprised all of us, and I think it kind of surprised the team as well. But it was the fact that they kept up that intensity pretty much for the whole, nearly the 90 minutes. I think when we scored, it was a real kind of gut punch for them. But up until that moment, on that big pitch, they really, really were very intense. And I'm just wondering, I know that if it was a Jurgen Klopp team, I know that first 20 to 30 minutes, we will try to just blow them away and just kill the game, score 2, maybe even 3 goals in that first half an hour. That's it, game over. Tom, do you think Slot's got that in him, or is he going to be a little bit more circumspect in terms of that fear of being hit on the break?
I don't think Slot's got that in him, and I think the players have got that in them. I think, apart from Chiesa, all these players have played under Klopp, right? So they know what he's like. It just depends if they overrule what Slot wants them to do and go back to what they used to do under Klopp, or they've got a game plan. But, we've heard players speak about how they like that Slot manages games well, and there's always a plan in place for certain examples of what might go on in the game. So, we know they like that. But I think last week as well, not only did PSG play well, we did cause ourselves a lot of problems. I think the midfield, that wasn't their best game. Giving the ball away, it just felt like constantly giving the ball away. If that was just getting it clear or losing it in the middle and just giving PSG the chance to come back. Salah, that was probably Salah's worst game of the season. But, every cloud, right, came off and Harvey Elliott came on. But, yes, I think there's a few things that our players could have done better. Last week, we had the likes of Van Dijk and Alisson playing well, as always. But I think this week or Tuesday, we won't cause those problems again. I think, keeping the ball better, not panicking. I think the pressure of just PSG swarming around Liverpool players, I think, like you mentioned, it took them by surprise and just kept losing the ball, or just after all those shots, they were just like, right, just get it clear. There was a lot of times Trent was just booting the ball, or Robertson just booting the ball away, which is fine, but you just give it back to them and they just go again and again. And I think they've got the intensity in terms of pressuring, and that Real Madrid game we played, we beat them 2-0. That was the best I'd seen Liverpool work as a team this season. So I think we sort of need one of those performances again, and we've shown this season we're capable of it. So I don't see why not.
And it's an interesting point that you made at the beginning there, that kind of players overruling the manager. I think it was Jamie Carragher said that there are certain games at Anfield where basically the tactics just go out the window, because as soon as you step on that pitch and as soon as the whistle goes, it becomes like such a bear pit in there that it just overtakes everything. And so even if Slot's message to the players is, look, first 20 minutes, let's calm the game down, Anfield just won't let you do that. And very often the players just get caught up in that. And I wouldn't be surprised that and like you said, Tom, a lot of those players, all of them, as you said, apart from Chiesa, were Klopp players. So they know something about going for the jugular right from the off. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I really do rate this PSG team. And I think that, they've kind of gone under the radar ever since, Mbappe, Neymar, Messi left. And, they struggled in the group stages. But as you said, Barnesy, before, that they now look like a proper team. And I honestly think that PSG are probably dark horses for the Champions League. And I think that if we beat them, I think that we'll be in a great position to get to the final, because I honestly don't think that there's going to be a team that's going to give us a harder test than PSG did in Paris. But right, we're going to go for a very short break. And when we come back, we'll do some predicted lineups and a score prediction. Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr. Okay, welcome back. Let's get into some predictions. We'll start with the Liverpool lineup. Barnesy, after that performance in Paris, I don't think there's going to be any surprises or doubts in terms of who's going to be in goal.
Yeah, no chance. No, Alisson, 100%. No, I think whenever he's fit in the Champions League, he's always going to have that role, regardless of how well he played in the previous game. But yeah, I know. I think the first leg just makes. If it was ever an argument, now it's not. So no, definitely, and hopefully he doesn't have to be relied on as much as he did in the first leg.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tom, I suppose there's no kind of argument there in terms of Alisson. And that back four, are we sticking with, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson? Is Robertson, the guy for left back there?
I think so. I think it could have been a week ago. You could have argued Tsimikas could have a chance, but after the performance of the weekend, I mean, he wasn't bringing him off at half time to save him for PSG. Let's be honest, he was bringing him off because he put a poor performance in. So I think as much as Robert's had a bit of an up and down season and not being great at times, I think he played in a game last week, so he can learn from what he did wrong or what he can do better or whatever. So I'd stick. I mean, the two in the middle, two centre backs, just that's their place now. I can't see anyone taking that. And obviously Conor Bradley's injured, so Trent's starting at right back. So yeah, that's the back four I'd go with.
Barnesy, I thought Trent played pretty well at the weekend. I thought he had a decent game, even in the first half where we didn't play well as a team. I thought he was always trying to get on the ball. He was trying to pick up that tempo for the team. And I think that Robertson, I just think his experience is going to be really key in these games. But that back four looks set. And I was encouraged, actually, that Arne Slot made changes at half-time, which he's never done before. But it just goes to show how seriously he's taken this part of the season now. Yeah,
I agree. I remember in pre-season, I was just listening, trying to get a better understanding of Arne Slot, and he said people were saying, he's ruthless when it comes to substitutions. It doesn't matter what minute in the game it is. If he thinks it's going to benefit the team result-wise, then he's going to do it. And I think we saw that on the first week with obviously Quanta coming off at half-time at Ipswich, and he hasn't done it much since then. And I think that was a bit of a reminder that it doesn't matter where we are in the league table, how comfortable it is at the moment. He wants to win every single game possible. He wants to wrap it up as soon as he can. But I think I agree with Tom that Tsimikas didn't come off to be rested for tomorrow night. He's come off because of his performance. And I think, like you say, the experience, the know-how that Robertson has in these type of games. I mean, he's done it at the highest level for many years. He'll be the one that will start at left back. And speaking on Trent, I think this season as a whole, I think obviously he's had the odd performance, Man City away being the most recent one where your back question is defending. I think as a whole, I think Arne Slot's kind of really developed him in that area. I think obviously under Klopp he had the license to just go forward, and he just knew that Fabinho or whoever it was going to be there to kind of hoover up behind him. But now I think he's a bit more reserved in when he goes forward, when he stays back, and I think as a result, I think his defending's come on leaps and bounds, and hopefully if he is to stay at Liverpool in years to come, then that's only going to get better.
Yeah. Coming back to those substitutions and Arne Slot, I thought it was really good management, because apart from the obvious in terms of substituting players that aren't performing, he's picked the easiest games, the easiest game in this run of 3 games. He said 3 cup finals, right? And the Southampton game is the least prestigious out of those 3. But he's gone absolutely ballistic at his players on this game, because he's trying to instill that mentality that every single game in this part of the season is important. You just can't drop off at all. So I really, really, I was really pleased to see that reaction from the manager. And I think it's really going to be interesting, Tom, in terms of what formation he goes for this game. Is he going to go for the kind of tried and trusted midfield and then, Salah, Diaz, Nunez or Jota? Or does he think, look, PSG dominated possession. They're likely to, if not dominate possession, to be kind of 50-50 with us at Anfield. Does he do what he did at Manchester City? Does he say, okay, we're not going to play an out-and-out striker? Jones and Szoboszlai come on, along with Gravenberch, McAllister, and then, Salah, Diaz, but no out-and-out number 9. Or do you think that's giving the wrong message to PSG?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I think it depends what he wants to do, right? Like, we've got the one goal lead. So does he go, right, we put everyone behind the ball and we defend for 90 minutes again and soak up all the pressure? Or do we go slightly attacking, get the second, and then make changes? Bring Endo on, bring Jones on, whatever. So I think I'd like to think he would stick with the same formation, the same midfield of Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister. If things don't go well, throughout the game, you then change it, like we've just talked about, his substitutions. So, but we also Barnesy mentioned start about defending from the front, right? So I think the front 3 tomorrow or Tuesday night need to be energised. They need to be on it. And I could see Nunez playing, I think, tomorrow, just for his relentlessness of running. And I mean, he did something stupid at the weekend against Saints where he lashed out at Walker-Peters, which, to be honest, I don't see how. I mean, I thought he was gone, to be honest.
I thought he was gone.
And
when it went to review, review, I thought, oh God, he's gone.
Yeah. And so I think he was lucky to get away with that, and a bit of a rash decision from him. But I could see if he doesn't score or assist on Tuesday night, that's fine. I think just his energy and go, right, give me 60 minutes, 70 minutes of just giving it your all, and then we'll assess the situation. Again, might take off him and then put Endo on and then not play with a striker like you mentioned. And honestly, it honestly just depends how the first 20 minutes to sort of half time goes tomorrow, depending on what he does. But I think he would set up with the same formation and the same midfield. And
what about the front 3 then for you?
For front 3, I'd definitely obviously stick Salah, keep with Salah. I'd go Nunez, and I think the last few games as well, and I don't know if he's going to be fit, but it's showing that we're missing Gakpo.
I think he's 50-50. He's a doubt.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if he starts, given he's been out for a few games. So it's likely that Diaz will continue on the left.
But that's fine.
What you thinking? No, sorry, mate. But in terms of the midfield, are you sticking with that 3 in midfield, or does he pack it out with Jones as well?
I think, I think it's an interesting point you made with obviously the 2 almost number 10s with Szoboszlai and Jones. That is a potential. It could happen. And I think if we were to be going to France with a 1-0 lead, I think there'd be more chance of that happening. Showing a bit more respect to PSG and what they can do, especially in front of their home fans. But I think he will stick to a standard 4-3-3. And I think I agree with Tom that Nunez will have a big part to play tomorrow. And I'm still on the fence. Will it be from the start? Will it be from being subbed on? But something's telling me that I think it'll be a Jota that will start up front, particularly with him being rested at the weekend and Nunez starting. But listen, if Nunez was to start, then I'd be all for it, because like Tom said, we need that front 3 to be energised. And I think the chaotic nature that Nunez brings could work wonders for us. But as for the other two, I think whoever it is, Diaz or Jota or Nunes, they'll be in between Diaz and Salah. So I think it is just the number 9 position that probably could go either way. I think the two wingers, they pick themselves tomorrow.
Yeah. All right then, Tom, score prediction.
I'll go 2-1 on the night, 3-1 on aggregate. I can see us conceding. I mean, if we don't concede tomorrow night, how we kept 2 clean sheets against them would be one of the biggest feats in football, I think. So I think we'll concede a goal, but we're at home with scoring goals. So 2-1, 3-1 on aggregate, and we go for it.
2-1. Barnesy?
Yeah, I'm going 3-1. I think it's been Liverpool's
3-1 on the night?
3-1 on the night. Sorry, 4-1 on aggregate. I think
it's
been Liverpool's favourite score in the last few years. So I can see 3-0 up, and they'll score a consolation goal later on. So that's my prediction.
I'm going to go for a 1-1 on the night, which puts us through.
Yeah. So I'll take any of them.
I'll take any of them. Yeah, absolutely. But it should be a cracking game and a really big week for Liverpool as well, because we've got the League Cup final on Sunday. But that is all for today. Give us a follow on your preferred podcast platform so that you get the very latest content when it drops. Follow us on social media at GSPN Liverpool. You can email us at gspndailyliverpool@gmail.com. Join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you the review of this game, hopefully with the Reds going into the quarterfinals. From myself and both the Toms, thank you for listening. This podcast is part of the Global Sports Podcast Network, the only network bringing you exclusive daily news and views on your Premier League team, the Premier League, women's football, and fantasy football. A unique listening experience that puts fans first, bringing you the very latest breaking news from your team. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and make us your first listen every day. Global Sports Podcast Network. Every club, every day.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.